coming at you from the Hey Yo Studios. It's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the Ayo Studio.
Hey yo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. And we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a frozen frenzy. The New York Jets take on the New York Giants. And the NBA season starts. But we get into today's show with breaking news.
Emphasis on breaking.
Brock Purdy entering the concussion protocol. Now, every player has entered every player who's entered the protocol this year has missed the game on Sunday, so we're all anticipating that he's going to miss Sunday's matchup against the Bengals at home, and the 49ers will be turning to Sam Darnold, who they loved in camp. So, Z, what do you think about this? And will Brock Purdy ever start for the 49ers again?
That train's never late. How many times do we have to say it? That train is never late for the San Francisco 49ers. They now have, correct me if I'm wrong, last week they did not have Christian McCaffrey. They did not have Deebo Samuel. And now they're going to be without Brock Purdy.
No. Deebo didn't play. C-Mac played. C-Mac did play, but he is an oblique injury.
So he's useless.
Well, he scored there. I think he scored their only touchdown, or maybe he might have scored both their touchdowns. No. He might have scored both their touchdowns or one of their touchdowns.
No. An oblique, he is going to be playing through an extreme amount of pain, and he is not going to give you what you expect. Especially now that your number one is now Brandon Ayuk, not Deebo.
But their left tackle was definitely out. Their stud left tackle.
Yep. Trent Williams.
Yes, he was out. He did not play.
And now you have Sam Darnold going in under center. Now, Brock Purdy the past 2 weeks has looked mortal. Right? And we knew this was going to happen. Right? You knew that this was going to eventually happen. You're not going to ride on that wave forever. Eventually, it's going to come down. Like, that's just life. You're not going to be perfect forever. You're not going to be untouchable forever. That line is not going to protect you forever. Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey are going to be there forever. This is adversity. All right? And this is what the San Francisco 49ers need to go through in order to get where they need to go. And even though Brock Purdy was mortal, he wasn't bad. 21 to 30, 272, a touchdown and 2 picks. That's not bad. That's not great, but it's not bad.
What about the week before?
The week before that?
12 for 27, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 125 yards.
That's bad.
Against the Browns.
Bad. Against the Browns.
In Cleveland.
So against the number 1 ranked overall defense.
Yeah, he didn't have a concussion in that game.
He also had 2 injuries. So McCaffrey went out, Samuel went out.
And
Trent. And Trent Williams. So this is the taste of adversity, right? Adversity introduces a man to himself, a wise man once said. And he will get his job back. Because Sam Darnold, we know what Sam Darnold is. Like, I know you love him. I know that you think he's some special quarterback.
Love Sammy.
He will be back on the bench as soon as Brock Purdy is healthy. Sam Darnold will be back on the bench. Now, this upcoming weekend, it's a little something because, we both had the Bengals in the Super Bowl. The Bengals seem to be turning a corner. These may be 2 ships passing in the night right now, right? Burrow seems healthier, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that offense was humming.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting better. Now, you catch them at the right time with the injuries. You know, this is going to be a closer game, right? But you know, with the injuries that are hampering the Niners, you expect the Bengals to win. You do.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's a slight advantage to the Bengals. I would give them a slight advantage.
49er home game.
49er home game, but still, like, they're coming in. Chase,
2 weeks to prepare.
Burrow. Yeah. You give the Bengals all the chance in the world. Now, how long does this linger is the question. Concussions are tricky. The one saving grace is that Purdy is going to have time to rest up, right? They're 5-2. The division, the Rams are going to chase him down. The Rams are going to give him their money's worth. I'll give you that. Seahawks, we'll see. We'll see. But the Rams definitely. You need to get healthy. You need to get whole and fast. Or else you're going to get lapped and you're going to be looking for a wild card spot. So that's what Sam Darnold brings to you. He brings you back to the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to get his job back. I think Sam is going to come in and look stupendous. He's going to look better than Brock did the last 2 weeks, but Brock looked human. I mean, you got to remember this guy. What did he win? He won like his first, 10, 11 starts? Like, he won something unproductive. For games he started and finished, these were the first 2 he lost. Mm-hmm. I just, you know, they don't know. They don't know what they're doing in San Francisco, Z. And that's what this is. It has nothing to do with Brock. It's like, just they don't know what they're doing. Like, Sam's going to come in and play well. Like, okay, we're stick with Sam because why not? You know, it's not, there's no rhyme or reason to this. And their scheme, let's be real, their scheme gets players hurt. We've talked about this for 2 years now. And it ends careers. It ended Robert Griffin's career. I mean, I can see Sam having a good day. The 49ers saying, Purdy who on Monday. Wouldn't put it past them. Now, after Sam's last 2 games, do you think less of Sam?
I think less of Sam because of his career.
I'm sorry. Do you think after these last 2 games, do you think less of Brock?
No, I don't think less of Brock at all. Like, do
you think teams have figured him out? Like, what do you think's going on with him? Because he's not looking sharp. I mean, if you watched both games, he's missing guys. I mean, he's missing guys. Like, he's missing guys that are open. He's overthrowing. He's underthrowing. He's missing guys. So it's just more or less him just getting stuck in a riff. Do you think this is coaching? Do you think this is who he is? Like,
I think this is the first time he's had to go behind a line that's not going to build a wall in front of him.
Okay.
Because he's running, he's making throws on the run, and they're not good. Mm-hmm. They're not crisp. They're not accurate. This is what pressure does. Mm-hmm. This is what pressure does to a quarterback, especially a pocket quarterback. Yeah. Look at what happened to Tom Brady. Tom Brady, when faced with pressure, was a mortal. He was a mortal man. He went down just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. So I think that this is normal. These are growing pains. He is in his second year, his first full year, because remember, he did come in late last year. And the grace that we want to show other quarterbacks, we need to show to Brock Purdy. Everybody's so quick to write him off. Everybody's so quick to say, oh, he's a system quarterback.
I told you so.
Everybody's quick to get on that hot take and say, I was right.
Right.
How about we actually let a guy finish his entire rookie season before we dub him a system quarterback? Sam Darnold has 60 career games. Like, we know what Sam Darnold is. He's 61 touchdowns, 55 picks. The very definition of just good enough to get you beat. That is who Sam Darnold is. We saw it with the Jets. We saw it with the Panthers. We're going to see it with the Niners. He's just good enough to get you beat. Not to mention, the Niners were in position to win the Cleveland game. They now have a kicking problem. They now have a place kicking problem. Jake Moody is not doing well. It's the Moody Blues over there. You let go of Robbie Gould because you want to get younger, you want to get cheaper. You got younger, you got worse. So I don't know how you fix this. You hold tryouts. Maybe you make a trade with a team for a kicker. You know, like you can possibly pry away a kicker. Who knows? But the 49ers are starting to show that there are warts, that there are gaps in the armor. And they need to get right, and they need to get right fast.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
Speaking of getting right and getting right fast, as we transition out of the breaking news and into the show we had planned for you, and it's a king-size show. We're starting off with October baseball. The World Series is now set, and to the surprise of many, the Arizona Diamondbacks knocked off the Phillies in Game 7 and are taking on the Texas Rangers. Now, the 84-win Diamondbacks have a lot of young kids, a really young core. The Rangers have spent and spent and spent and spent. Seager, Simeon, DeGrom, Eovaldi. They traded for Montgomery. They traded for Scherzer. The Diamondbacks were the last team in this new Rob Manfred playoff expanded system. So, who you taking in the series, and is Major League Baseball happy now that 2 years in a row that the number 6 seed has made it to the Fall Classic?
Yeah, I mean, I think Major League Baseball got what they wanted, right? They wanted to let more people in, which they did. And when you do that, you water down your product and you get a long shot. And the long shot is, the Diamondbacks in this situation. One might argue this is one of the most unlikely matchups anybody would have thought would have happened even when the playoffs started. And you get one opponent on the other side who actually belongs there. I think the Rangers belong there. They beat the reigning American League champions to get there in 7 games. They went for it 2 years ago, spending money on Simeon, Seager. They brought up their talent in Jung. They went and traded for guys like Montgomery, DeGrom, Scherzer. They signed them, but it's like they went for it and they got here. So this is everything a general manager could ever want. This is everything the Padres were trying to accomplish here, right? I think there'll be nerves on both sides, but that's a good thing, right? I'm not thrilled with the World Series, and that might be just because I'm bitter over what happened to the Braves and what happened to the Dodgers, but I'm happy the Phillies aren't there, and I actually think it will be a fun series. I don't really care who wins. There are players on the Rangers I enjoy, like Eovaldi, Jung, Chapman, Monty, Seager, but I also don't want to see Scherzer win. I don't want to see DeGrom get a ring. I don't want to see that shit. So, I'll just be I'll be enjoying the game.
That's fair. This Diamondback bullpen that they stumbled upon with Mantiply and Thompson and Salfrank and Ginkel, it didn't really come together. It didn't really gel until around the August trade deadline, and then they acquired Paul Sewell from Seattle.
Yeah,
a little gift from the Mariners, a little gift from the Pacific Northwest, a little manna from heaven there. But you want to talk about another Met cast-off. Paul Sewell could not land a relief role with the Mets. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Tommy Pham couldn't stick with the Mets. he looked pretty good in Game 6. So, I think this is going to be a really good classic matchup. You have this young group of kids, right? You have some veteran presence. You have, Lourdes Gurriel, you have Longoria, you have Christian Walker, you have Tommy Pham, and then you have like your Corbin Carrolls, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, your Alec Thomases, your Rivera's, your Gabriel Morenos, which the Diamondbacks fleeced the Blue Jays. They got the better catcher. They got Christian Kirk. This could have been Christian Kirk. Instead, it's Gabriel Moreno, and Moreno is proven to be a hell of a catcher. So, this is the youth and gaining experience and confidence. The whole chip on your shoulder of nobody said we were going to do this. Lovello is pushing all the right buttons, and then you have Steady Eddie, been there, done that, Bruce Bochy, and then you have your veterans, right? You have your Simeons, you have your Corey Seagers, who just happens to be a World Series MVP. You have DeGrom, who, while not pitching, still pitched in a World Series, so he can impart some wisdom on some of these guys. Like Scherzer, he's pitched in a few World Series, right? So while he's not the old Max Scherzer, he can still impart some wisdom. And
do you start him?
Hell no.
Hell no. Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
If you're using effectively as an opener. 2 innings, thank you, Max. Go sit down. Like, I think that's the strategy.
So why not just put him in the bullpen?
Because I don't know at 40 that he can warm up as quickly like that without pulling something. I mean, you and I are both pushing 40. So do you think you can get up and warm up in that time?
It takes me an hour just to warm up to play cornhole.
Right. Exactly. It takes me 20 minutes to get out of the house. So that's a problem. That's a major league problem. But I can really see this going 7. I think that, as good as the Rangers bats and as hot as the
They're
Rangers
hot. They're
bats
hot.
were,
They're hot.
They're hot.
They're definitely
So
hot.
were the Phillies. And they got shut the fuck down.
Can you see other teams trying to replicate the Phillies model of, okay, we got 2 guys that can bitch and we're just going to score more runs than you, which is something they've been doing for 2 years now. And one would argue it's effective, right? It's got them to 1 World Series and it's gotten them to within 1 game of a second World Series.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not sustainable, but do you think it's a model that other teams are going to try to replicate?
They're going to try and replicate it, but they're going to fail miserably. They're going to fail miserably. Now, once the bats go cold, that's it. You're over. You're done with it. It doesn't matter. You could have a rotation of Pedro, Maddox, Johnson, Schilling, and Clemens. If you don't score, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So they can keep you in the game, but eventually, if those bats go cold, you have to diversify your offense. You have to figure out a way to do that, and that's why I think that they need a little bit more out of Trey Turner. Like as crazy as they may sound,
what they're paying him, yeah,
for what they're paying him and what he brings to the table, right? He brings speed. He brings contact ability. They don't need Trey Turner to jack the ball out of the park. That's what Harper's for. That's what Castellanos is for. That's what Real Muto's for. That's what Schwarber's for. You don't need to be that guy. You need to be, more like Bryson Stott, if that makes sense. Bryson Stott is a clutch hitter. He'll poke the ball the other way if you need to. Like Alec Boehm, same thing. He'll pop one out if he needs to, but he's a gap-to-gap hitter for the most part. You need more guys like that. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have a lot of guys like that.
Yeah, with the Phillies, I could have just done without the dramatics, like Bryce Harper hitting a home run, then staring down Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as he's reaching home plate. Like, dude, what the hell are you staring at them for? What the hell did they do to you? What the fuck's the matter with you?
Well, I mean, you have it on the other side, too. You have it in the other league. Adolis Garcia hit the longest, hardest hit single I've ever seen. Why? Because he pimped it. He thought it was out. He pimped it. This is the generation that we're in. Like, it's just unfortunate. But, like, that, to me, I'm looking at that matchup. How do you neutralize Adolis Garcia?
I'm surprised that Dusty pitched to him. I don't know if that was really wise. Because he was on in Fuego. He's in Fuego. I think he came up with the Cardinals organization, too.
He did. He was acquired for cash.
Nice.
So 2 years in a row, Cardinal cast-offs. So 2 years in a row, Cardinal cast-offs are hitting a fuck ton of home runs and carrying their team to the World Series, because Randy Arozarena was also on the Cardinals and in the Cardinals organization.
Man, they just draft well, man. They're good stuff. But we do have one more baseball story for you.
Yes, sir.
Surprisingly, the San Diego Padres gave permission to the San Francisco Giants to talk to head coach Bob Melvin. After a Coke and a smile, the San Francisco Giants hired Bob Melvin as their head coach. This seems wrong just on so many levels, but I think it's actually happened before with Bruce Bochy. Does this make any sense to you?
Here's what I find odd, right? You give permission for a team in your division to come and take your manager. Now, I understand that you are somewhat disappointed in the last two seasons. You know, you had a massive success, and then you just did not live up to the hype, right? You went from 89 and 73, you got to the NLCS, you lost to the Phillies, and then the next year you're 2 games over 500, and you're looking for your mouthpiece, and you're wondering what the hell happened. While a team like the Diamondbacks are now in the World Series. A team like the Diamondbacks who's set up for years to come because they're young and cheap. Meanwhile, you have a bloated payroll and not a lot of financial wiggle room. To the point where they've already started initiating talks with the Yankees about trading Juan Soto, according to Joel Sherman. So I can understand why AJ Preller would kind of make a change, but to go in division like this, it's weird. Like the last time something like this happened where a manager was still under contract or was allowed to kind of move around was Lou Piniella. Lou Piniella went to Tampa from Seattle, and they had to agree to some compensation, right? They sent Randy Wynn back the other direction. And they just let him go scot-free, you know? I just feel that's weird. It's very odd to me that they didn't ask for any compensation. They're just like, here you go. All right, Bob, we know you were a Giant. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Via con Dios. And we'll see you next year. We'll take you on. We got you. I just find that very, very odd. And it makes you wonder what San Diego has up their sleeve. You know, it makes you wonder, do they know something that we don't know?
Oh, they're trying to Tampa Bay Ray him.
Do they know something we don't know? Because now Dusty Baker's also retiring. So now you have some pretty big managerial vacancies, right? Now you have Houston, you have the Angels, you have the Padres, you have the Mets, and you have the Brewers. So you have 5 openings right now that are pretty attractive. Now, maybe there's a hot candidate they want to get in the door as soon as possible. I don't know who. Maybe Carlos Beltran. Like, Beltran's always seemingly one of the hot candidates. Maybe Joe Espada. Joe Espada's been knocking on the door for years. Like, I don't know. Like, the same way they want to get a move on moving Juan Soto, it seems like they wanted to move out Bob Melvin pretty quickly and quietly so they could go get somebody else. And it just seems very, very strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the same things as you are. I'm hearing that they're kind of financially strapped, and they're trying to get they're trying to trade Soto. You know, I have a feeling that, you know, they kind of told Bob, hey man, we're gonna turn this whole thing over except for Machado. That's what I think happened. And Bob, and we're like, you know, if you want to go somewhere else, we're cool with that. the Giants are asking about you. You know, we appreciate everything you did trying to come in here, but this was just a failure, and all these guys fucking suck. You know, that's how I feel. That's really how I feel like the conversation went. I mean, you look at this team and how much they spend and the players that are there. It's just like, what the fuck happened? I mean, they got Xander Bogaerts, you got Machado, you got Soto, you got Tatis Jr., and man, we can't even make the playoffs. They let everybody in the baseball playoffs right now. We can't even get the playoffs. The Giants almost made the playoffs. I mean, like, you know, it's just the Diamondbacks are going to the damn World Series.
Yes, sir.
Well, like, so you if you're Preller, you kind of look in the mirror, you're watching TV, and you're throwing popcorn at it. Like, how the fuck did this happen? I can't name more than 5 Diamondbacks. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do think it's very odd. I don't think that they know anything. I don't think anything's up. I think we got to start. I think they're just like, we got to start over. Like, we're not, you know, the Diamondbacks got in here with smoke and mirrors. San Francisco was competing most of the summer. The Dodgers are going to spend more money than we are. And that's just, it's the nature of the beast.
The situation is such as not only they're financially strapped, they've also mortgaged their farm system. Because forever, AJ Preller said guys like Mackenzie Gore was untouchable until Juan Soto came calling.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams, you are Washington action. So, Skip, really? Yes. Go to the nation's capital. But, you know, they really need to tear down. They definitely need to do that. You didn't need an all-star infield of shortstops, right? You didn't need Xander Bogaerts to the point where we're going to try him at first base. Why? He's never played first base in his life. That doesn't make any sense, man. We got an all-star in Jake Cronenworth. All right, let's move him around. Like, this was just, how can I spend this money? It's like AJ Preller was given an edict. You have to spend this money. Use it or lose it. Like sick days. Or lose it. So, okay, fine. If I'm gonna use it, I'll just spend wildly. And that's what that felt like. It really, off season, it really felt like wild spending for the sake of spending. And now, a guy like Darvish will fetch you something back. Machado's got an opt-out at some point. So he may exercise that. He may see the writing on the wall, right? He's a pragmatic guy. He may see the writing on the wall. You know, you're already actively trying to get rid of Soto. Maybe Tatis Jr. is also on the road. Maybe you send him packing. Maybe you send Xander Bogaerts packing. These guys will definitely rebuild your farm system in a hurry, right? Because you're not going to get a bag of balls and a ham sandwich. You're going to get some top flight prospects for these guys, and they'll most likely be a better fit elsewhere. But I don't know. It just looks like they hit the ceiling. And it's time to cut bait on what they've been doing. Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their hoodies, snapbacks, graphic tees, accessories, and more. Season 3 merch is up now. Get it while you can. Go to fckclout.com and get all of your needs from men and women. That's fckclout.com. The NBA season is just taking off. The NBA season opened up last night with a couple of juicy matchups. The Nuggets narrowly beat the Lakers, 119-107. And the Phoenix Suns just barely escaped with a 4-point win over the Golden State Warriors. So the new blood is besting the tried and true in the Western Conference. But that's just the Western Conference. Let's open the whole thing up. Who is your pick for the East? Who is your pick for the West? And do you have a sneaky dark horse candidate for the NBA this year?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting opening night to the season. I like how they pitted some big marquee matchups. Pretty much like CP3 going back to Phoenix. But you can tell that Phoenix is young, and they're not that they're young, but they're newer. They're hungry. They haven't won anything in a while. Where the Warriors are the Warriors. Mm-hmm. And then I was surprised that LeBron lost to the Nuggets. And it was interesting that they talked about how he's going to be capped at 29-30 minutes this year. But if they're going to cap him at 29-30 minutes this year, man, Anthony Davis is going to have to play like a beast. I mean, it's really going to have to be Anthony Davis's team. He's really got to be the guy that's going to be closing things out. And I don't know if he's ready for that.
Let's be real here. The fuck he is. LeBron James is going to play until he can't go anymore. This is LeBron we're talking about here.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's 39, right? He's almost as old as we are, 38, 39.
Yeah.
He can't be playing 48 minutes, so it's going to be interesting to watch this year. But, everybody gets into the NBA playoffs, so it really doesn't matter. But they're going to have to figure – Anthony Davis is going to have to become something else if they're going to go anywhere. So back to the question. Yeah, so – for me, I'm going to chalk it up, man. In the East, I'm thinking it's the Celtics. I guess that's not really chalking it up because I guess everybody's going to be picking the Bucks. But I think the Celtics, I like them. I like them more than the Sixers with their Harden situation. Milwaukee, like I said, I still got to see how that offense is going to work. I'm just not sure of it. I think Atlanta gets better this year. Obviously, New York is going to be around, and the Heat. I like the Celtics more. And it really revolves around Porzingis. Everybody laughs at me, but I really do think he's the X factor, which maybe is why people are laughing at me. And Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday is an excellent pickup, and it gives them a dynamic that they haven't had before. They lost a lot of height, but I think in a 7-game series, I mean, this is like a Tatum. Tatum's got to take that step. He's got to become a killer. He's just not a killer. He's got all the talent in the world. He doesn't show it consistently. He'll disappear for quarters. He'll disappear for halves. And maybe this is the year he puts it all together. And the dark horse candidate I have in the East is the Cavs, man. I just think the Cavs are super talented. They were outed by New York last year, but I mean, the series should have been able to go either way. Donovan Mitchell, another year there. They have a lot of talent. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to beat a team like the Heat? Are they going to be able to go to toe-to-toe with a team like the Sixers? That's just something I don't know yet. Now in the West, it's hard not to take Denver, especially after the way they played last night. It didn't seem like they didn't miss a beat. I mean, Jokic is still, how do you stop this guy? And what's interesting about him is it looks like he, once the season was over, he really did step away from basketball. He relaxed. He went to the farm. He just played video games and was just, hanging out and relaxing. And that's the kind of thing that could help a person get right back. Right. And then my dark horse is the Dallas Mavericks, man. I think the Dallas Mavericks have an excellent roster. I think they did a good job of putting this thing together. I really like their coaching. I really like their coaching staff. And it just all comes down to, can Kyrie Irving stay interested for the entire season? If you're going to tell me that Kyrie Irving is going to play 50, 60 games, I'm thinking this team could win 60 games. They could win that many games. I think they're that talented. I love how they brought Seth Curry back. I feel like maybe Kyrie Irving will rub off on Doncic a little bit and just play and stop arguing with the refs. I've always been a fan of Dante Exum. I like Josh Green. Tim Hardaway, I feel like he's been there forever. I mean, it's almost like, you think he was drafted by the Mavericks. And I think they have a chance here. I really do. And Grant Williams, I think bringing in Grant Williams was huge for them. I know he did a lot of DNPs for Boston his last year there, but he's just got to play and not run his mouth.
The last time that Kyrie Irving played over 60 games with the Celtics, 67 in 2018-2019. That's it. Mm-hmm. You had 20 in 2019-20. You had 54 in 2021. You had 29 in 21-22. You had 22-23, a combined 40 with the Nets, and then 20 with the Mavs. But that was a friggin' shit show, right? You can't count on Kyrie Irving. Like, I'm sorry. I know that he's super talented. You can't count on that guy.
Yeah.
So, you just can't. You can't. Now, as far as the Eastern Conference goes, it's hard not to see it as a two-horse race, right? It's very difficult to see any other team besides the Bucks and the Celtics. But then again, we thought that last year about the Bucks, and they got picked off in the first round when Giannis got hurt. Anything can happen. It's a crapshoot. So you can never count out Miami. The Sixers, I don't know what the hell's going on. Are you going to trade James Harden? Are you not going to trade James Harden? Shit or get off the pot. Now the Clippers. Well,
he came back today. I don't know if you heard. He came back today. But I think he said he's not playing in the opener.
Oh, yeah, he said. How about Nick Nurse saying, get the fuck out of here. Go away. Stand up to this guy. He's not long for this team, but the Clippers, according to Woj, they're kind of pumping the brakes here. They're pausing on their pursuit of James Harden because they want to see what they have before they make a move. So until otherwise, I'm not touching the Sixers. The Raptors are regressing. Hornets, I don't know what they are. If you're looking for dark horse candidates, Cavs are a good bet. The Bulls are decent. The Knicks. Even the Pacers. I could see the Pacers making some moves this year. Like I could definitely see them kind of being above that play-in tournament threshold. But it kind of has to be the Bucks. Just it has to be based on what's going on, based on what they did in order to make Giannis happy. Like this feels like all in, and rightfully so. They now have a big three. They haven't had a big three. Like Drew Holiday was nice, but he wasn't a big three.
Right.
So you now have a legit big three. Even the Hawks can make some noise. The Hawks could definitely make some noise. Another year of Trae Young doing Trae Young things. Going over the West, I mean, there's a huge gap, right? You're looking at the Nuggets, the Suns, the Lakers, the Warriors, and even there's levels within them, right? Like, I don't necessarily think the Lakers are above the Warriors. They're just kind of there. Now, can the T-Wolves get out of their own way? That was a resounding no last year. Can they mature? If they can mature, I can see them doing big things. If they mature, that's a big if. The Kings, I'm still not sure about. Are they an aberration? Last year took a lot of people by surprise that the Kings were that good. So it's hard for me to pick them ahead of some of these other teams. So I'm looking at the Kings like around the 5th or 6th.
Wow.
A little bit below where they were last year. but still very good. The Grizzlies are going to drop off. Like that's my team. That's major slide. Expect a major slide. They lost Adams. They lost Ja for 25 games. And I mean, addition by subtraction, really. They lost our man Dylan Brooks. So they're not going to lead the league in ejections this year. So there's that. So, I mean, it's very hard for me not to see the Nuggets, right? Because nobody has, outside of Minnesota, nobody has the interior to match up with Jokic. And even then, Jokic is better than Rudy Gobert. So, if the T-Wolves have their shit together, it's possible they can knock off the Nuggets. Because they have the necessary tools with Karl Anthony Towns, Gobert, Anthony Edwards. Like they match up pretty well. They match up with Denver. Like that could definitely be a dark horse kind of pick. But until otherwise noted, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I don't see anybody who can match up with the Nuggets on that level. So yeah, this is going to be another chalk. But that's the NBA for you.
Yeah.
That's the NBA. The NBA is a chalk league. Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that from people sliding in our DMs. No, the NBA is a chalk league. Very, very rarely do you get a team like the 2004 Pistons. Actually, that was the last one you had. So, yeah, the Miami Heat, they've been in the finals 2 of the last 3 seasons. So I would say they're more of the establishment than a dark horse.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
Speaking of outside the box, I was out of pocket. Never mind the box. Like, I was outside the box. I was out of pocket. I was, like, beside myself with the Giants' victory over the Commanders. Yes, I picked the Commanders. But I was very surprised to see how well they moved the ball, how they played defensively, how they actually looked like a real legitimate football team. And we have a really big game in our market. We are a New York-based show, and we have a big game in this New York/New Jersey market. The Jets are taking on the Giants. Technically, this is a Giant home game. Both teams are coming off big wins. The Jets got to celebrate on the bye. They get to rest and digest that. They're going to embarrass another quarterback, or at least they're going to try to. And the Giants are going to show that they know how to play defense, right? Wink Martindale's got them playing. So what is the storyline for the game this weekend? And what will the headlines be come Monday?
Yeah, so, I mean, the storyline is all... I think it's really going to be all about the Jets, right? I mean, they're the team that's coming in riding high after knocking off the Eagles. They're coming off a bye week. Their coach thinks they embarrass players. And so that's the narrative, is that, you know, is it going to be the Jets continue their winning ways, or it's going to be same old Jets because Zach Wilson is running in the wrong direction and throwing to the wrong team? We know Wink is going to be dialing it up. They're definitely going to have people in the backfield and people coming after Mr. Wilson. And so the question is can the Jets run the football? You know, if they're effectively able to run the football, that could give the Giants a hard time. Also, the Giants, if you watch them play against the Redskins, they really like getting around the 30 to 40-yard line and then really just throwing up a jump ball in man-to-man coverage against those weak commander cornerbacks. They're not going to be able to do that against the Jets. So I'm thinking that the headline is going to be like, you know, little brother gets a victory here. I don't think it's going to be same old Jets. I really do feel like it's going to be a good game. You know, it's usually a good game when two bad teams play each other. No, never. Usually when two bad teams play each other, it's a bad game. But look, you got backup quarterback on each side. I doubt Daniel Jones is going to play in this game. You got two teams coming off of a win, needing another win. This is a Giant home game, but it's going to feel homey for the Jets. So I think the front and back page of the post are going to be green and white, and then I really think the narrative is going to be the Jets continue to soar.
So this is going to be a defensive struggle.
Yeah.
That's what both teams hang their hats on.
Field goal game.
It certainly is not quarterback play. It certainly is not quarterback play. Now, that being said, the Giants' offense under Tyrod Taylor looks so much more explosive than it does when Danny Dimes is under center. So, Danny Dimes is more like Danny Deer in the headlights. He always has the look on his face. And it inspires nothing. It is not inspiring whatsoever. Taylor looks like a professional. He's moving out of the pocket. He's outside of that one audible to Saquon Barkley. He's had command of this offense. He got Waller involved. He got Hyatt involved. He got Slayton involved. Right? He's spreading the ball around. Saquon, I don't expect anything from. Like, the Jet defense is going to probably swallow him up. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're going to have to get Taylor out in space. You're going to have to get some passing out of the backfield. You're going to have to get
creative.
Yeah, you're going to have to do
what they've been able to do all freaking year.
They have one running play. They have one running play. If they're under center or if they're in shotgun, it's a draw up the middle. That's what they do. That's it. Giant draw. Like that. That's what it is.
That's the play call, right? Giant draw on one.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Giant draw one-on-one. Very bad.
Great.
It is. It's a zone run. Can you do something else? They tried last week. I have to admit that they tried last week, and they tried the week before that to try and do the Miami Dolphins pre-snap motions, and Wan'Dale Robinson got flagged twice for illegal motion. So we got to work on that. The same way that they tried to steal the tush push, and two guys got hurt. So
my back.
Shit, my ass. Oh, ugly game offensively, and Gano has not looked good. He's been spotty this year. He's got a couple of kicks blocked. He's missed a few. Zerline's been pretty good. And at the end of the day, the Jets can easily play down to their competition, the same way the Giants can play up to their competition. Right? This is going to be a wash. I can really see this being like a good game, but still a wash, where it's really only a field goal. And in the end, like if the Giants happen to pull this out, that headline is going to say "Gag Green."
Yep.
So
this is true.
Yeah, but the other way, if the Jets are able to hang on, it's going to be Big Blue, BLEW. So I'm not going to give you my pick just yet, just because we have a segment for that. It's called a teaser. I'm not going to give it to you. I think you know where I'm going, but I'm not going to give you the pick right away. But prediction, pain for both quarterbacks and for all the fans. Prediction, pain all the way around. But there is no pain in the NHL. There was, in fact, a frozen frenzy and a major party, a major celebration of hockey. For the second time ever in the league's history, every team played. And the puck was dropping on a rotating, a 15-minute interval. And this frozen frenzy was all over ESPN, a la the Red Zone. So what did you think of the frozen frenzy last night? And is this going to help the NHL attract new viewers?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it was a great marketing tactic. It's something that not a lot of everyday leagues could pull off. The idea of dropping a puck every 15 seconds, every 15 minutes is just excellent. It was a great idea. It had, anytime, you're getting, basically you had one night where you got to see all the stars play, right? You got to see Connor Bedard, you got to see your Connor McDavids, you got to see the stars and the Maple Leafs. Like, you got to see everybody play, and I think it was a great marketing tactic. It's a great way to get everybody interested. Not only people, at the games, but people watching at home were able to, surf around, keep checking their scores, just constant action. For one day, you had really a lot of attention on hockey. So, we like to give Gary Bettman a lot of shit, but hats off to him on this one. I think he got it right. I think it was really cool. And this is something they should think to implement every year.
They're missing one thing, though, and they can't get him because he doesn't work for ESPN. They need Scott Hansen.
Oh.
That's the one thing. If you're going to rip off Red Zone entirely. You had Bucci. That's, John Buccigross does a great job. But by the numbers, 16 total games, 102 total goals, an average of 6.4 goals per game, 93 unique goal scorers, right? 10 road wins. Not a great night for the home team. And 944 shots on goal. That is impressive. And the fact that they took those stats and they kept them, it takes my breath away. Is this something that will draw fans? It could, much in the way that fans will only watch the Red Zone. I can definitely see this being a situation where fans will only watch the Frozen Frenzy. Is this going to increase fantasy hockey? Possibly. I could definitely see that. Just because, where else do you need to go? It's a one-stop shop. You get to see everything. So, I think that there is major potential. There's major potential to attract new viewers. Being on ESPN is great for the league. Being on TNT is great for the league. And having the involvement of guys like Gretzky, right? Having Bissonnette from Spit and Chicklets as part of the broadcast. Having PK Subban, having Mark Messier. These are all great ambassadors for the game, right? They're going to help grow the game. And their participation in this, even Chris Chelios. I didn't mention Chris Chelios, Ryan Callahan, all those guys. I think that the improvement in the broadcast, the improvement in the delivery, the appeal, the direct appeal to new fans that may not understand the speed of hockey, may not understand the physicality of hockey. The people who just think of it as, soccer on ice or basketball on skates. There's a real beauty to the game. There's a real speed to the game. There's a real intensity. And the more you're exposed to it, I think that it's definitely going to attract a new audience, a bigger audience, and I think that eventually, right, you're going to see the needle move. Because ultimately, look at what's going on in a bigger picture situation, right? Austin Matthews is from Arizona.
Yeah.
He's from Arizona. Was a dude from Arizona playing hockey in Toronto. Come on now. You have warm weather people, right, playing a cold weather sport. It's very interesting. And that's happened in recent history. The next generation, with the exposure to the Bedards, to the McDavids, to the Matthewses, it can only serve to grow on an even larger scale. Great move by the NHL. Great move by Gary Bettman. No, we don't say that a lot, but good job, Betts.
If you want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. The choice is yours. Swipe left or swipe right.
All right, boys and girls, particularly my online dating fans, we have a statement. And it's either swipe left if you disagree or swipe right if you agree. Swipe left or swipe right. Number one, Victor Wembanyama as the MVP and the Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah. I think it's only been done twice, right? Something like that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was done by Wilt Chamberlain and I want to say Wes Unseld. I am going to go with swiping right on this. I think it's a huge possibility. Watching this guy in the preseason was it's just absurd. I mean, you saw people trying to take jump shots and he's 5 feet off the ball and he's blocking it. I mean, there's no doubt he's winning Defensive Player of the Year, right? And there's no doubt he's going to be Rookie of the Year. Unless he gets terribly hurt, I can't see him not winning those two things. So as far as MVP, that might be a little bit harder, but let's see what kind of impact he makes his first year.
Let's see what happens when he goes up against Jokic down low before we crown him, right? In the words of Dennis Green. But let's see what happens when he goes up against a guy like Rudy Gobert, a guy like Jokic. Not everybody's as soft as Anthony Davis now. So, and you were right. It was Wes Unseld and Wilt Chamberlain. Nice job.
Right? Yeah.
Good job by you. Nice. Now, I'm swiping left. Rookie of the Year? Sure. MVP? No.
It's tough.
No.
It's tough.
No way.
Not even LeBron and Carmelo did it.
No way.
But Defensive Player of the Year?
Jokic, Gobert, he's got tough competition. So he may have a shot, but I don't even think, he may finish second or third. Rookie of the Year, absolutely. You can have that. That's a given. MVP? No, I can't do it. I can't pick a rookie over a Giannis, over a motivated LeBron. It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron had one more MVP season in. And the media, if he's good enough, they'll trip over themselves to give him MVP. That's what they do. Steph, a motivated Steph, a motivated Kevin Durant. Right? The MVP conversation is a very loaded conversation. right? Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum does well, he'll get some votes. Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler is single-handedly dragging the Miami Heat in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, he's going to get some votes. So you're going up against some grown-ass men. You know, the little engine that could. San Antonio is going to be a nice story. A nice story. Maybe a 10 seed. Maybe a 10 seed. You get in the play-in tournament. But I don't see him unseating these other guys just yet. Swipe left or swipe right. Number 2, Max Scherzer.
Swiping?
Just Max Scherzer.
Just swiping left, man. I want no part of that guy. Like, old noodle arm? No way. I mean, you just know, like, when he comes in, it's going to be 2 innings and 3 runs. Like, that's what he's going to do. Like, it's a wrap. He's done. Like, he's been done for, like, 3 years now. Ever since he was with the Dodgers and they were going against the Braves, and I think it was the championship series, and he literally had dead arm. He's like, I can't throw anymore. And so that was it. That was the end of his career. And then the Mets decided to go get him for 2 years, and now he's with the Rangers. Like, dude, it's a wrap. Don't need any more Max Scherzer in my life.
I'm swiping left on him. I had a front row seat to the Max Scherzer show. Nothing was ever his fault. There's a million excuses. He's an old Max Scherzer, not the old Max Scherzer. But I will give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for this reason. When used effectively, right? 2 2/3 innings in Game 7, he put up respectable numbers. So maybe he's that guy now. Maybe he's an opener. Maybe Bochy figured out how to use him because he went 4 innings and he got lit up for 5 earned runs in his previous start. There are flashes of what he used to be. Against the Blue Jays, he went 5 1/3 of scoreless balls. But then against the Astros, he got lit up. So there's an inconsistency that comes with age, right? There are days when you can be your old self, and then there are days when you just don't have it. And you got to figure out ways to make it through the day. He's done. I'm in agreement with you that he's done. But you might be able to squeeze just a little bit more out of the tube if you deploy him the way that Bochy is deploying him. At least the way he deployed him in Game 7 of the ALCS.
Is your hair thinning or is your hairline receding? Scalp micropigmentation will fill in the areas where your hair is missing by creating a short buzz cut look. Micropigmentation is a non-invasive procedure that will create the illusion of hair follicles for 7 to 10 years. For people with alopecia, this could be a permanent fix. For people with scars on their scalp, this is a great way to camouflage a scar. Don't lose confidence or feel like you need to wear a hat wherever you go. Marquez Studio is located in the Bronx and is open for all your scalp micropigmentation needs. Consultations are free and appointments can be made any day of the week. Get your hairline back with scalp micropigmentation. The techs at Marquez Studio have over 30 years of hair cutting experience and can assist you with all of your questions. Call to schedule a consultation today, 646-221-8728. You can also visit them on Instagram at Bronx Marquez to see their gallery and view all their satisfied customers. Again, that is Marquez Studio, located in the Bronx, New York, 646-221-8728.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the alleged superstar of the week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show. And they take home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy this week, D?
I don't.
Davante Adams.
That guy.
Davante Adams. Be a better teammate, Davante. Be a better teammate. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right, so first up, I've got the Philadelphia Phillies up 3-2 on the Diamondbacks, and you blew it. You blew it. It takes so much pride in saying the Philadelphia Phillies are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, Caleb Williams loses again against Utah, and this time 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Maybe USC should ask for some profit sharing if a team drafts you. And last but not least, the Detroit Lions. We thought you were finally turning the corner. We had people picking you on live television to go into Baltimore and beat Baltimore, and you get shut out in the first half, 28-0. And you go on to give up 10 more points and only score 6. Yeah, the Detroit Lions, you are definitely the alleged superstar of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really, what more can you say about that other than, yeah. Let's start with the officials of the Cleveland Browns Indianapolis Colts game. How do you call those pass interference penalties? How do you keep the Browns in the game and job out the Colts the way you did? Where on replay it is as plain as the nose on your face that those were not penalties. This is why everybody's calling for robot umps in baseball, right? This is why people want to replace officials with machines. Because glaring stuff like this, officials of the Browns and Colts game, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Chris Olave, for your absolutely dangerous, reckless driving that could have potentially gotten somebody killed. You're very fortunate that you were pulled over. And then to drop the I play for the Saints card. Nah, dude. Kudos to the cop. He's like, I don't give a shit. Give me your license. So, kudos to you, officer. For you. Bad job on you, Mr. Olave. Chris Olave, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then last but not least, Christian Javier. Game 7. Big moment. And then what do you do in your big moment? A third of an inning, 3 runs, 4 hits, and a dinger. Oof. That's a smelly performance by Mr. Javier. Christian Javier, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and vote. And for our nominee.
Just do better, boys. Just do better. Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Let's run the option and give you our picks for the week.
It is the option for NFL Week 8. And if you want to play along with us, you know what to do. Go to our Instagram at Fade Route Podcast. Click on our link in bio. Go to our CBS Sports Pick'em League, also entitled The Option. Sign up and play along with us. It was not a great week for any of us last week. That was a thorough whooping on all of us. You took home the win for the week with 6 wins.
Boss.
6. Yeah. You are in second place, narrowly behind the lovely Rita Sanchez, so you did close the gap a little bit. My gap is still the same. So, yeah, sometimes it's just not your year, boys and girls. You're on top one year, and then not so great the next. But them's the breaks. Let's see if things start breaking our way this week. Starting with the Thursday night game. 8:15 Prime Video. The 3-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into Orchard Park to take on the suddenly struggling 4-3 Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I would think Buffalo would wrap this up. I have a hard time believing that Baker could go up there and win a game.
Buffalo is playing ugly football right now, man. They lost to the Patriots, for Christ's sake. So, I don't know. Some things, you would think the Patriots would be the cure for what ails you. But now, I don't know. Tampa Bay is not a bad defense. Bills are hurt. Their defense is hurt. Fuck it. I talked myself into it. I'm going to take the Bucs. Let's see what happens. Sunday. The 3-3 Houston Texans, led by C.J. Stroud, go into Carolina to take on the 0-6 Panthers and number 1 overall pick Bryce Young.
Texans.
Yeah. Panthers 0-7. Yeah. That's bad. At what point do you really consider having Andy Dalton take this beating? When does Andrew Dalton get in this game? He's there for a reason. It's a thought.
I don't know.
I don't get it. I just don't get it, and I don't like it. The 3-4 Los Angeles Rams go into Jerry World to take on the 4-2 Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas. I've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They should be able to win it. Might be a high-scoring game.
This is going to be tough, right? Rams coming off a loss. Cowboys had 2 weeks to prepare. Dak against that defense does kind of scare me. But then again, Stafford against the Cowboys scares me too. Narrowly, I'm going to take the Cowboys. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams pull this one off. Speaking of pulling it off, the 3-4 Vikings, and now that Cousins isn't going anywhere, in the hunt, go into Lambeau to take on the 2-4 Green Bay Packers.
Vikings.
Vikings get to 500. I'm not impressed by Jordan Love as of late.
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe, the Vikings can make their move. The 3-4 Saints go into Indianapolis to take on the 3-4 Indianapolis Colts.
I would take the Saints.
Even without Chris Olave, you think he's going to play this
He should
weekend?
play. He practiced. I mean, he's driving recklessly, but he didn't. It wasn't a DWI or DUI. He just was driving recklessly.
Just it's just reckless driving. It's okay. I really don't like the fact that he dropped the "I play for the Saints" in the video. That's pretty.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's pretty ridiculous. That's Damon Arnett bad. That's Henry Ruggs bad. That's Dante Stallworth bad. You can't do it, man. You can't do it. Potential legend superstar behavior there with I'm gonna go with the Colts. They got jobbed last week. They definitely got jobbed last week. But Minshew looked good. I had to eat some crow on that. I think he gets another week of magic and then he starts to kind of fade back into obscurity. The 2-5 New England Patriots go into their house of horrors, Miami, to take on the 5-2 Dolphins.
Miami.
Does Tyreek Hill play? Is the question.
I hope so.
He's questionable.
I know.
Do they even need him to beat the Patriots?
Yeah, I do. I think. Oh, maybe not.
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
He's trying to get to over 2,000 yards, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna play.
Yeah. Either way, take the Dolphins. Oh boy, this is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, boys and girls. The 3-3 Jets Jets go into MetLife Field, which happens to be their home. Yeah, MetLife Stadium. Yes. To take on the 2-5 New York Giants.
I'm taking the Jets, the Jets. I'm taking COVID.
Oh, God.
Again, it just comes down to they really just have to win their games. They have to win their games because they talk so much shit.
It's that 2 bowls of shit theory. Which bowl of shit smells less? I'm going to hold my nose and I'm going to take the Giants. I'm a sporting man. I'll take the Giants. They've shown enough defensively, and Zach Wilson is nothing to write home about. So the Jets could play down to their competition. At least that's what I'm hoping for. The 5-2 Jacksonville Jaguars go into Heinz Field to take on the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. Pittsburgh playing well, huh?
Right? TJ Watt taking the lead.
A tough one. I'm taking the Steelers. Upset.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes,
I'm going to take it. Yeah, I like it. It's a bold strategy. I'm going to take the Jags. I don't know. I just don't think that Pickett is as good as they need him to be. Najee Harris definitely is MIA.
Yeah.
They need more.
That's really crazy.
Steelers need more. The 4-3 Atlanta Falcons go into Tennessee to take on the 2-4 Titans, possibly with Will Levis under center.
Wild how that's coming apart. Do you think they start to cut bait with players? Think they're going to trade King Henry?
They already traded Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard's an Eagle.
Fire sale, yeah.
It's going to be a fire sale.
Falcons. Oh!
Falcons. Oh! Now, Levis starts, but Malik Willis is going to get time because Will Levis is not going to be ready for prime time. The 6-1 Eagles go into Landover, Maryland to take on the 3-4 Washington Commanders.
The commies, huh? Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Eagles as well. This will not be fair. And Jonathan Allen will be talking about 7 more years of this bullshit. We're into the 4 o'clock hour. The 4-2 Cleveland Browns go into Lumen Field to take on the 4-2 Seattle Seahawks.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to pick, but I'm going to go with the Browns just because their defense has been outstanding.
No Deshaun Watson again. PJ Walker is going to get the start for the Browns. I'm going to take the Hawks. Narrowly. That defense plays in Cleveland, but I think Geno's going to have something for him. And let's be real here. The Seahawks defense isn't bad. Pretty darn good.
No, they just picked up Frank Clark.
Yeah. And Witherspoon is really good. Witherspoon is going... I can argue that Witherspoon is better than Sauce Gardner. Maybe. The 5-2 Ravens go into Arizona to take on the 1-6 Arizona Cardinals.
Ravens. Their defense is playing well, too.
Their defense is playing well. And, yeah, the Cardinals are just... Yeah. What can you say about the Cardinals? They're just overmatched. You wonder if they're going to start moving guys, too. I mean, there's a certain tight end that you might want to kind of think about moving. Maybe a certain running back. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Zach Ertz on the Jets or something like that. It wouldn't be bad. The 6-1 Chiefs go into the Mile High to take on the 2-5 Denver Broncos.
You know, Russ is actually having a decent season. He's like a top 10 fantasy quarterback, believe it or not. But I am going to take Kansas City.
The Chiefs have a sneaky good defense.
Yep,
They're sneaky.
They're top 5.
They're top 5. You don't think of the Chiefs as having a good defense. Spags has him playing well. Mahomes to Kelsey is too damn strong. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. The game worth watching right here. This is where the eyes are going to be. The 3-3 Bengals at the 5-2 Niners. This was my Super Bowl.
49ers.
I think the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals just because they seem to be rounding into shape, and that train's never late with the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to Sam. He's going to need it. Your Sunday night special, the 2-5 Bears, led by Chicken and Bread, go into SoFi to take on the 2-4 disappointing I almost said the S word. The Los Angeles Chargers.
The Chargers better win this game, man.
I'm taking bread and chicken. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm taking the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears because I can't trust the Chargers, man. Can't do it. And it's their fault that I can't do it. Because Staley shit coach, Herbert is injured. It's just unimpressive. Disappointing. Terrible. And your Monday night delight, the 3-4 Las Vegas Raiders go into Detroit to take on the 5-2 Lions.
Gotta think Detroit will rebound, right?
You hope so, because that was a whooping. There was an absolute ass whooping put on them by the Ravens. And the Raiders, what's their quarterback situation? Is it going to be Brian Hoyer again, or is Jimmy?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Jimmy. I would think Jimmy's going to be back.
That uncertain
one-game thing, but he'll be hurt again.
that. Speaking of the train not being late.
Oh, he's still not medically cleared to return.
So probably Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. So either way, Lions big time. No teams on a bye this week, so adjust your fantasy rosters accordingly. Play your guys. Play them all.
This has been the Fade Route with D&Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday night on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go wrap, but we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.